Are you feeling more fulfilled now that you're back to work?
This Friday.
No. I need a vacation.
See the movie that critics are saying is an awesome.
Look at that.
Crowd-pleasing, fist-pumping, all-out brawl of a film.
You're right about that.
They're coming after our family. Go fix this.
Oh, my.
Nobody 2. Rated R. Only in theaters Friday.
You were scrolling down memory lane when you accidentally tapped your ex's post from years ago. Better delete the whole app. When scrolling's a bust, tacos are a must. Paso the old El Paso. Pick up an old El Paso standard stuffed taco kit today. When modern life gets rough, grab the timeless taste you love. Paso the old El Paso.
Why are there ridges on Reese's peanut butter cups? Probably so they never slip from her hands. Could you imagine? I'd lose it. Luckily, Reese's thought about that. Wonder what else they think about. Probably chocolate and peanut butter.
This is the FPL Draft Zone, your fantasy team's best signing of the season.
The Premier League kicks off this Friday, and the chances are your draft is done and your squad is set. So today we take a look ahead to those Game Week 1 fixtures and flag a few waiver options who might be worth bringing in to your side. Hello and welcome to the FPL Draft Zone, a podcast all about Draft FPL. I'm Dom Crofts. I hope you are well. And today we are looking ahead to the start of the Premier League season with a full preview of those all-important Game Week 1 fixtures. And ahead of the Game Week 1 waiver deadline, when the manager who had last pick in the draft gets first pick of the available players, we will also be recommending a few players who might be free in your draft league and who could be a decent pickup ahead of those opening matches. Before we get started, do not forget to subscribe to the pod if you haven't already. It is the best way to make sure you never miss an episode, and it would of course be brilliant if you could give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or some nice words on Spotify. And of course you can also follow us on social media as well. You can find us on X and Instagram at FPL Draft Zone, and on Blue Sky as well, where our handle is at FPLDraftZone.bsky.social. But the big kickoff is almost here, and we are going to go through all 10 fixtures from Game Week 1, match by match, and pass on a few nuggets of information and some key assets who could help make it a successful game week for your draft side. And it all begins on Friday, the 15th of August, with a game between the champions Liverpool and AFC Bournemouth. And based on recent history, it could be a long night for the Cherries. Since Bournemouth have been in the top flight, these two sides have met 16 times, and Liverpool have won 13 of those games and lost just 2. At Anfield, it is 7 wins out of 8 and 1 draw, and the aggregate score of those games is Liverpool 26, Bournemouth 4. Oh dear. Liverpool have scored an average of more than 3 goals a game against the Cherries at Anfield, in large part thanks to that 9-0 win back in 2022 when Mo Salah famously failed to get amongst the points. Last season it was 3-0 to Arne Slot's side, with Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez getting the goals. Salah did score twice as well in a 2-0 win at the Vitality, so he's not immune to scoring against Bournemouth. And Bournemouth's last vaguely positive result against Liverpool came way back in 2017 when they drew 2-2. Salah has got 10 goals against Bournemouth since they were promoted, so if you do own him, you're probably in with a good chance of a return. Liverpool have kept 10 clean sheets in those 16 games against Bournemouth in the Premier League, including the last 3 meetings in a row. So based on recent history, their defensive assets should score well this week. And if you have Cherries players in your draft side, it may well be a case of expecting the bare minimum this week and hoping for a better time of it next week. Having said that, though, with Cliver likely to miss the game, Marcus Tavernier will probably start, and given Liverpool's shaky defensive performance in the Community Shield, you wouldn't 100% rule out an attacking return from the Cherries. On to Saturday's games then, and we start with the 12:30 p.m. BST game between Aston Villa and Newcastle. Neither side has been very active in the transfer market this summer, but it does seem that Newcastle have had a particularly tough time of it. Newcastle have actually won 3 of the last 4 meetings between these two, scoring 11 goals in the process. But Villa won this fixture last season by 4 goals to 1, with Watkins, Maatsen and Onana among the goals. It does feel like the morale at Newcastle could be fairly low going into the new campaign, given all the dramas that they've had to deal with off the pitch. And I guess Eddie Howe will be trying to use those sort of injustices to motivate his side. But I fancy Villa to win this one. Obviously, Watkins will already be taken in your draft league. There will be some doubts over whether Morgan Rogers will be fit for this one, but he'll be taken as well. However, Yuri Tielemans may still be floating about on a few waivers, and he is projected to score pretty highly in Villa's opening 6 games of the season. Marlon is another who is likely to get a lot more minutes this season, and he's had a solid pre-season with goals and assists. Gesand is unlikely to have been picked up in a lot of drafts as a result of signing for Villa quite late on, and he is going to end up as a first-team regular sooner rather than later. He got 12 goals and 9 assists in 33 league games last season. And given Newcastle's lack of firepower up front, bringing in a Villa defender might not be a bad move either. Villa have won 5 of their last 6 games at Villa Park against Newcastle, and they kept clean sheets in 4 of those games. There will be no Isak, and Anthony Gordon is also a doubt after he suffered an ankle injury in Newcastle's final friendly of pre-season. One player to think about if you are looking at Newcastle assets, though, is Fabian Schär, who has this weirdly impressive record against Aston Villa. He's scored 3 goals in his last 3 games against them. It's Brighton against Fulham at the Amex and the battle of the ageing strikers, with Danny Welbeck up against Raul Jimenez. Both of those players will be taken in your draft league, I am sure, but there is a chance that Welbeck's understudy Stefanos Tsimas isn't. He could be worth bringing in long-term if you have a non-playing third forward. I do think he'll get minutes this season. He's been given the number 9 jersey. He may not get much in this one, but he has had his first outing in pre-season now, getting a couple of minutes in Brighton's final pre-season friendly. Georginio Rutter may also be free in some smaller leagues, and he's been sharing minutes up front in pre-season and has been scoring a good few goals as well. And I do think Ferdi Kadioglu will be a good long-term signing as well. He was excellent for Brighton before he got that injury last season. He's been involved in pre-season. He's a defender who can also operate in midfield. So if you brought in a bit of a dud defender as your 5th pick, he might be a good option for a 1-week punt. This is quite a hard game to call based on recent history between the two sides. The last 3 games at the Amex have all brought different results, with 1 win for Brighton, 1 win for Fulham and a draw. If you do fancy Fulham to win away from home or make an impact away from home, maybe someone like Harry Wilson could still be available on the waivers, and he always has the potential to score from range. He has had a very promising pre-season. Spurs against Burnley is a plum fixture for game week 1, and you would have to assume that Spurs will not just win this one, but win this one quite convincingly. Defensively, they have looked much stronger this summer if you ignore that battering at the hands of Bayern, and there may well be a Jed Spence available on your waivers. Wilson Odobert may be free as well. He's the sort of player who could easily start this one with his ability to beat a man. Surely a vital tool to try and break down Scott Parker's defensively resolute side. Obviously, Spurs play PSG this week in the Super Cup, so keep an eye on that one for any clues as to who starts on the left. Matthias Tell is another option for that role. Even if he doesn't start, he could easily return off the bench, particularly if Spurs are looking for a goal late on, or if they're out of sight and he's up against a defence that have just given up on life by the time he comes on. Longer term, if Savinho is available on the waivers, he looks like he's going to be joining Spurs from Manchester City, and I'm pretty sure he will go on to become their first choice starting left winger. His best season was before he signed for Manchester City, when he played on the left in Spain, so he could be a good fit for Thomas Frank's side. And Richarlison is almost certainly going to start this one due to Big Dom Solanke's injury problems in pre-season, so if he is somehow still free on the waivers, he should be one of your priority waiver moves for this week. I can't really give you any players to target from Burnley because I think they're going to lose and lose badly. But if they are to do anything at the other end, the former Spurs midfielder Marcus Edwards will surely be well up for this one. And he is more than capable of creating something out of nothing, which he may well need to do. Spurs have won their last 4 in a row against Burnley and 7 of their last 8 meetings. Sunderland kick off their Premier League adventure with a home game against West Ham. The last 3 meetings between these two at the Stadium of Light have all finished in draws, with a couple of 2-alls and a 1-all draw. Sunderland will have 48,000 fans cheering them on, and they've done some decent business in the transfer window, and the few Sunderland assets that might be worth investing in are probably already taken in larger leagues. But if you think that they can keep West Ham at bay, there may be a few Robin Roofs available. He is their new keeper, and he has looked very promising in pre-season by all accounts. Simon Adingra is another option for this week. He's got goals in his game. He's a fun pick. And Chemsdean Talby is their other winger who could cause some problems for West Ham. They've both played on the left in pre-season, but whoever ends up playing on the right will be up against El Hadji Malik Jerf, who has looked really good in pre-season going forward, but his super attacking nature mean he will leave spaces at the back. And if he leaves spaces at the back, there should be opportunities for an Adingra or a Talby. As for West Ham, Lucas Paqueta is likely to be on penalties again this season, and Thomas Souček loves a goal in a game like this. So there are a few midfield options from the Hammers that could help you start the season with a bang. The late game on Saturday sees Wolves entertain Manchester City, who will be looking to get off to a convincing start this season. City have won 9 of the last 10 meetings between these two sides, and a late John Stones goal was the difference in this one last season. Erling Haaland has 8 goals in 6 games against Wolves, but something tells me he's not available in the waivers. There are a few midfielders who might be, though. Maybe a Tijani Reinders in smaller leagues and Jeremy Doku in larger ones. Rangers is almost certain to start after scoring 2 goals in a friendly last week. He's been billed as Ilkay Gundogan's long-term replacement, but obviously that injury news for Rodrigo may see him start in a deeper number 6 role. Jeremy Doku started both matches against Wolves last year, so maybe he will be Pep's preference again this season. As for Wolves, I'd try and avoid, if I'm honest, but maybe a Munetsi or an Arias could get a start and a return if the stars align. I'm not convinced that the stars will align, though.
Hey, it's Sydney Sweeney. I'm not here to tell you to buy American Eagle jeans. And I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. Or that they make your butt look amazing. Why would I need to do that? But if you said that you want to buy the jeans, I'm not going to stop you. But just so we're clear, this is not me telling you to buy American Eagle jeans.
Sydney Sweeney, Hasbro jeans.
You see what I did there, right?
This episode is brought to you by the world's first reposado from Tequila Herradura. Made with slow-cooked, hand-harvested agave sealed into oak barrels and aged 11 months. Before being enjoyed in your glass. Experience the world's first reposado. Tequila Herradura. Please drink responsibly. Responsibility.org. Tequila Herradura. 40% alcohol by volume. Imported by Brown-Forman, Louisville, Kentucky. Herradura is a registered trademark. Copyright 2025 Brown-Forman Corporation.
Popsicles, sprinklers, a cool breeze. Talk about refreshing. You know what else is refreshing this summer? A brand new phone with Verizon. Yep, get a new phone on any plan with Select Phone Trade-in and My Plan. And lock down a low price for 3 years on any plan with My Plan. This is a deal for everyone, whether you're a new or existing customer. Swing by Verizon today for our best phone deals. 3-year price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate only. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
On Sunday, it's Chelsea against Crystal Palace, a fixture which was drawn last season both at Stamford Bridge and at Selhurst Park. And with the news that Levi Colwill is going to miss a good chunk of the season through injury, Chelsea's defensive options could be a nice route into their side. Tosin Adarabioyo is almost certainly free on your waivers and is probably the most likely to replace him. Chalobah is a guaranteed starter if he's free and if he's fit. And even someone like Jarrell Hato might now be worth looking at as a potential draft option. I'm sure most managers would have been put off him because of the competition for places at left-back with Mark Cucurella, but when Chelsea were being linked with him, there were loads of reports saying what appealed to them was his versatility and his ability to play at left back and at centre back. So if they think he is ready, he could easily get the nod as well. I would probably say Adarabioyo is the one for this game week, but longer term it could well be Hato. And if you want to get ahead of the curve and stack Esteval Villian, his form in pre-season has been so good that Chelsea fans are already demanding he start the season ahead of the likes of Neto. I don't think he will, but if he comes off the bench and he makes an instant impact, which is not beyond the realms of possibility, it will surely only be a matter of time before he does become a regular. As for Crystal Palace, you would have to assume that Chelsea will score, so their defence is probably an avoid, but Adam Wharton could be a clever move if he's free. He's across some set pieces, and he has the potential to be a DEFCON monster. He made 14 defensive contributions in Palace's recent friendly against Augsburg, and he was excellent in the Community Shield as well, getting an assist and creating 3 big chances for his side. It's Nottingham Forest against Brentford at the City Ground, and I fancy Forest to kick off the season in style with this one. Defensive assets could be the order of the day, given the fact that Brentford have lost Brian Mbeumo and are likely to be without Johan Wissa as well. That really only leaves Kevin Schade, who is also a doubt, Thiago and Fabio Carvalho as major attacking threats to the Forest backline. And I would fancy the likes of Murillo and Milenkovic to shut up shop and keep all of that lot at bay. Forest's Elliot Anderson has been a popular pick in classic FPL for his defensive contribution potential, and he could be free in a few waivers as well. He may also be across a fair few set pieces for Forest this season too. Igor Jesus may be in a few waiver piles in smaller draft leagues, and he will probably get some minutes off the bench if Forest need a goal late on, or if they are so far ahead that they just want to give him his first Premier League minutes. And this game feels like it could be a good one to own a Callum Hudson-Odoi as well, with Carvalho given a bit of a free role on that right-hand side in pre-season for Brentford. He's unlikely to do much tracking back, and I am sure that Hudson-Odoi will fancy his chances of getting past Michael Kayode a few times in this one. Forest actually lost this fixture 2-0 last season, but they did win the reverse game at the G-Tech by the same scoreline. And then the big game on Sunday is at Old Trafford, where Manchester United take on Arsenal. This one finished 1-1 last season with Bruno and Declan Rice on the score sheet. Arsenal won the reverse fixture at the Emirates 2-0, but United then beat Arsenal in the FA Cup, so this one really could go either way. Ricardo Calafiori started Arsenal's final pre-season friendly against Athletic Bilbao, and he was excellent. He was bombing forward, he was causing chaos, and there's every chance he'll start this one. He's also unlikely to have been high on anyone's priority lists on draft night, so should be free. Ethan Nwaneri has played a lot of minutes as well for Arsenal in pre-season. I'd expect him to get about 30 minutes in this one, and while that doesn't sound like a lot, A, I think that will be a minimum amount of time he gets, and B, he is a shot-taking monster, and I'm sure he'll have a few efforts even in that short period of time. United's goalkeeping situation is not great right now either, so taking a few pot shots against them might not be the worst idea. As for United, maybe a Dorgu is worth looking at from an attacking perspective. I think their centre-backs will be busy as well, which could mean some serious DEFCON points for the likes of De Ligt and Yoro. And of course, if Benjamin Sesko signed after your draft night and you had last pick on draft night, he will be available to your side and will obviously improve your forward options. And then on Monday night, it is newly promoted Leeds United against Everton. I would expect Everton to get off to a winning start in this one, and Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall is someone I fancy to have a big impact this season. He had a great season in the Championship with Leicester before he made that big money move to Stamford Bridge. He had a good record for Chelsea when he did get his chances, particularly in their successful Conference League campaign. And I think he'll be free in a lot of draft leagues right now. Everton fans were raving about him after his first appearance for the club. He was playing as an attacking number 10, and he was on most set pieces as well. Leeds, well, they'll want to start on the front foot in front of their own fans, so a Branthwaite or a Tarkowski are very likely to benefit from those DEFCON points early on. And maybe there will be a few Branthwaites on the waivers. And if Beto wasn't picked up on draft night, I think there is a good chance he will get the nod over Tierno Barry in Game Week 1. As for Leeds United, if Pascal Struijk plays, there's every chance he'll be busy at the back too from a DEFCON point of view, and he may well be on penalties this season for Daniel Farke's side, which would be a nice little reward for any draft managers who made the move to bring him in. Everton are unbeaten in their last 5 league visits to Elland Road, so David Moyes will be hoping for a strong start to the season. So, those are the fixtures for Game Week 1 and a few potential waiver options who you may be able to bring in ahead of the big kickoff to help you get off to that winning start. Let us know if there are any other players you've got your eye on for those waivers. We would love to hear from you. You can get in touch with us on X and on Instagram at FPL Draft Zone, on Blue Sky at fpldraftzone.bsky.social, or if you are old school, why not drop us an email to fpldraftzone@outlook.com. But that is it for today's show. We will be back very soon indeed. And until next time, good luck ahead of Game Week 1. And it's bye for now.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.